and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, this is part 2 of the insane Wizard's Tale build. If you're new to the channel, watch part 1 first so you'll be up to speed. But sit back, watch and enjoy because this is a crazy one. If you're a regular here, guys, I feel the love. Thank you very much. I've literally had hundreds of ideas what to do on this. It's just absolutely insane. But I'm still stuck with the underneath. But I'm going to work a few ideas on that. Anyway, I'll see you in a second. Right guys, so what I'm thinking, I've got bits of this, okay. Now, the problem with the Kingspan I have is it's quite thick, okay, and I do not have a prox on wire cutter, you know, to cut this down. So I'm literally trying to cut it by hand, and it's such a big sheet. I've got nowhere really to put it down to cut. I mean, I could clear all this off and I put it down and cut the piece I need, but I'm not going to get a straight, perfect cut, which is not a big issue. So I might still work away and use this as a wall to go in the middle of it, but all the other pieces that I have, like bits like this, I'm going to be trying to, you know, shape them up and just hot glue them underneath, and I'm still going to incorporate these pieces onto it. There's lots to do. I'm going to make a cage as well. I want to put a cage in there. I've made a doorway. Just give 1 second. So what I've done is I cut, sorry, this camera's jumping. I cut a piece of, reflecting the light, there we go. I cut a piece of foam board. I used a hot knife on it, and a smouldering iron. So if you don't have a hot knife, get yourself a smouldering iron. If you have a, if you don't, you know, if you do have a smouldering iron, oh no, that's a, you can use it on this. And this side, I've cut loads of little symbols on it, and I've sort of burnt this out a little bit. Now the plan with this, I'm going to hot glue a demon net head into there, and the hot glue claws coming out. I paint the whole thing black. I'm going to put something to seal the bottom here, okay, and then I'm going to fill it with PVA glue. I'm going to paint the demon net first and then fill it with PVA glue. So when that dries clear, it's going to look like a little portal and the demon net's coming out of it. Okay, that's to go on there as well. That's the type of crazy ideas I've been having. So all I've done to do this was cut it out rough rectangular shape, and then just started one edge, just started making bricks, just cutting bricks into it with the hot knife. And as I started getting up higher, I started using these cuts here. Started using the smouldering iron because there's a bigger, there's a little needle on it, not needle, but there's a little edge on it, and then it comes to a bigger bit that all heats up. So it's just giving me bigger grooves into the stonework. Okay, and again, these are just a hot knife, and then I went over it with a smouldering iron to make it a bit deeper. So that's that, nice and easy. Okay, the lighting's off a little bit off today because it's 25 degrees. You see, I'm absolutely sweltering. So some of you go, oh, don't complain. No, it's just we don't usually get that top weather here, so it's hard to, it's uncomfortable. So anyway, guys, I'm going to crack on with it and see you in a minute. I thought I'd quickly show you this. Okay, so I've got a cut the piece out of here. Okay, so I'm still thinking of making a doorway and putting up somewhere near the top. Actually, no, don't need to because I've put the stone up there now. Okay, so what I've done is I took the piece from there. Okay, I'm putting it at an angle and I'm just slicing to get just like that. Okay, so now I've got a nice little bit of slate there. Back at another angle. All these little bits can be glued to prop, you know, underneath to help prop bits and pieces up. There's a nice little pile of slate there. So what I'll do, take this piece and I'll just cut it at a rough angle, pull it off. This is giving me my slate. Okay. Nice and easy. Now, one of the flying stands decided it was going to come off, and I couldn't glue it back in because I couldn't get the angle to. So it seems to be okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up slate around the bottom of it, and then maybe put a small pile of bricks going up to support it. You know, I see when I get there, but it seems to be okay. But just I don't want to leave it and then it all starts falling down that side. Anyway, I've got to crack back on there, guys. Okay. Right, so here's where I'm at, guys. There's some bits glued under there, which is going to be turned into slate. Okay, so I just need to have a clean one. Now I sort of boobied myself here. I need to masking tape this up, and I should have masking taped that on first. But you know, it's not a big issue. It's a stone that I've just hot glued in there. Okay, there's a bit of a remains of the corner of the part of whatever it was from. I've got this bad boy in here. I've got a little wall along here with a sort of peepee window. Got a little wall along the back here. This is where the tower thing's going to go to summon the demon through. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to masking tape those bits first under there, and then I'm going to give this a spray down with black spray, so it's all undercoated, and then I'll move on to the next bit. So if I do cover something up and then I can't get it to the brush afterwards, it's all undercoated black. Now I do like the effect. Can you see that on there? That's the PVA glue. That's what it's done. It's just dried like that. Let's come out a little bit, a little textured. Looks good. Anyway, back to it, guys. Okay, so what you just saw was me, I undersprayed it already, and there was certain bits where the underspray was run off it, and it just turned it from white to a grey, which is okay, but it's not, I want it as black as I can get it. Now, you see me just going over the brush, the black paint, there's still bits that I've missed, or there's still bits that the paint's not stuck to 100%, it's sort of just come off a little bit. This is my first time using Kingspan, so you know, I am learning these things as I go along. So what I'm going to do now, so I've got it all set up here, you see the top of it here, I'm going to give it an underspray from this height so I can get into all the little bits and pieces rather than have it on the floor and just try and spray around it. Okay, that's what I thought I'd just let you know where I'm at now. I want to give as many undercoats as possible because I want to have it black. So then when I start adding the first different shades of grey onto it and start painting stones and stuff like that, it's really going to pop instantly. So I'll start adding one or two colours. So I'm going to give that a quick. You can see there's still bits of white coming through on it. I don't know. First time using it. So anyway, guys, I'm going to crack back on with it. See you in a second. Right, I'm just going to quickly show you this before I get too far carried away on it. There's demonite head in there, and there's two demonite arms coming out. Now the whole idea of this is I'm going to put a plate across the bottom there, a bit of card, you know, masking taped up and everything else, and I'm going to fill this with PVA glue. So when it dries clear, and you'll be able to see demonite looking like she's burst, you know, coming from a portal, or looking like she's been trapped in there since whenever she was trapped there. Obviously I need to dry brush a stone and dry brush a demonite first of all, but that's where I'm at with that. And that sorry about the light, is going to go over here. Come from this side. It's going to come over this side here. Let's sit on this end. Okay, so still lots to do. As you can see, it's getting there. I'm going to get back to it, guys. Right, guys, so what I did is I used this moody brush. See how moody that brush is to do all of this. Okay, all the purple work. That's just gently the purple. Now, the reason I use this moody brush is I can get into the gaps, yeah, but because it's a moody brush, there's stray bristles either side, it's going to push a faint bit of the purple either side of the, you know, let's have a look at it. So what it does, as it's a layer paint, gently the purple, it goes on bright and dulls down, but because it's on the edges, it looks like it's illuminating light. Now what I've done here is just dry brushed her with the same density purple, and as you can see, I've got the mad little contraption. I masking taped everything up with a piece of, you know, serial card across there, and I've started wedging stuff behind it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that with PVA glue, not just normal PVA glue. This is going to be the heavy duty builder's PVA glue. Now before I had a spreader, and I was flocking something, I can't remember what it was, but I was flocking something, and there was a good bit of PVA glue left on the spreader, and I just put it down, didn't think nothing of it. The next day when I came out, it was like that sort of thickness, and it was clear. The best way to describe it, it looked like clear resin. So I was like, oh, actually, that'd be a good idea for something, for like rivers and stuff. But I'm gonna try it on this first, and if it works good, then, you know, then I'll attempt it on rivers. But anyway, I'm gonna crack back on with it, guys, and I'll see you in a second. There's a little bit of a show you this. Okay, you see the PVA glue is still white all there. It's all dry at the top there. It's gone like a, it's not gone clear. It's gone more like an icy effect, which is, you know, still a pretty nice thing to have. The problem is, it's kind of like that's still tacky and wet. It really escaped out of here. It's not. I think I put too much in. I think I should have put a little bit in first, left that to dry and cure, and then put a bit more in, and left that to dry, and then a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blade and I'm going to start trying to clear all this bits of PVA glue in the back here. It's just half it's dry, half it's still wet, and then I'm going to leave that as is to dry more and carry on with the rest of the build, because all this needs now is a paint and then hot glue into place, but it still looks pretty sound, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to crack on with that. Then I've got to make the lexicon, or the lantern, whatever it's called, the wooden stand or the stone stand with the book on it. Okay, so still a few bits to do. I'm going to back to you guys in a second. So I'm working on that piece. Before I start gluing everything down, let me show you what I've got. So I've cut a piece of foam board, piece of the Kingspan. Okay, I'll cut the bricks there, and I was trying to figure out how to do it. I wanted to have it coming up right, but it's too much of a headache. So, I mean, I could have cut it as wooden strips. I'm hit when I should have had this finished and uploaded. So I want to get this done as quick as possible now. So I decided to go with a stone lintel, if that's what it's called. No, lintel, a stone plinth, a stone, you know, little shrine bit to put the book onto. So that's just a bit of Kingspan in a square and two little rough bricks. It's not glued together. I'm thinking about gluing it as an angle. Now this is going to be the book. This is actually the flat piece from inside here. They're cutting, and all I've done is cut a piece out that has a little join where it curves around, because this sticker peels off. Okay, you can easily peel that off, no problem. But a bit that curves around there, I've just kept a piece of that here on this one. Okay, you can see it on the edge there, and this one I've cut flat. So what this one will do, I'll hot glue that into there, so it gives me the, you know, the play on it. Okay, and the idea is to have it standing upright, so the wizard's looking at it. Now I can cut other pieces of that, small pieces, and hot glue them in to make it look like the book's open. But I'm going to try some toilet paper. Okay, I've got two squares here, but I'm probably only going to need one. Now I don't know if I should cut it into squares and then hot glue, or not hot glue, but PVA glue each piece onto it, or if I should fold it and then glue it on. I haven't figured that out yet. So the other thing with this toilet paper, I don't know if you can see, no, I don't think you can, there's little funny patterns on it, okay? So I don't know, when I dry brush that, is that going to come up and look fantastic, or is it going to look, I don't know. But this toilet paper is more like kitchen roll. Just looking at it, so analysing toilet paper. Oh, but I don't know how it's gonna react. But if I paint this, I'm gonna have to paint straight onto it with a brush. I'm not gonna be able to use the underspray because it's too watery down. It's gonna make this go to bits. And a spray can will melt the foam, and the spray can will just make this go as well. Anyway, guys. So I'm going to crack back on with it. I'll see you in a second. Right, if I'll show you this quickly. So, bubble flying here. There's the book. Okay, it doesn't look like much now, but I'm just literally tearing off the squares of toilet paper, and I want to give myself a nice little thickness in the book. So I'm trying to fold them up and put them in there. And what that's doing is giving me like ruffled pages sort of effect. But the PVA glue will soak through the paper and keep attaching it, so the edges will be loose if you put the PVA glue in the middle of it. As you can see, you see that or not? That was funny done. There's a double PVA glue in the middle there. So what I'm going to do, I'll take a piece of toilet paper. I tried cutting it with a blade and it just flayed it into loads of pieces. So, and then just try and make a rough square. Okay. Now you can see it's all jiggedy and jaggedy and this bit's crap in the middle, so I'm going to fold that over. It's giving me sort of a rough edge, so it gives me all the edges are rough then. I'm going to take it and put it in the middle there. Okay, so now I'm getting pages in the book. Okay. Now it takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of time. Then what's going to happen is it's going to slowly build up, and it's going to look like it's a book, and there's loads of bits of paper in there, loads of bits of information being put in there, and people, you know, wizards have had stuff in there and ripped bits of pages off to, you know, to keep it secret, you know, stuff like that. So I'm just going to keep adding until I'm happy with how much I have in there. But actually just drawing the square. This is quite difficult. You think it's quite easy? It's really difficult to get a nice square. I mean, I could have gone with the bits of card or serial card even. You know, that would have been a nice, easy one to go with. But I always tried using toilet paper and trying to get the real parchment-like look. Double glue back in there. This is just normal kids crafting glue. You know, couple of bucks, €2 or something, €1.50, whatever it is. Now, you'll see this one. I folded it. I can pick it up properly. Don't stick to me. Right, try again. So it's got a straight edge, okay, and the corner bits are all roughed up. So I'm going to put the corner bit. I folded it over, yeah. So the corner bit's going to go in there. So it's giving me that really rough texture around the edges, and it's giving me nice. I don't know if you can see because the light's really good here. You can see the edges of that. If you can't see it now, don't worry, because when I start dry brushing and painting it, you'll see it. Let's give you a last little blast. There we have the book. Okay, pages all roughed up, and I like that. Very simple, very easy, but I like it. Now what I'm going to do with that, I'm probably going to I'm going to glue that on first. Am I going to paint it up first? I might paint that first, just so I can get into all of this bit as well with the undercoat, rather than putting the book there and I can't get into it properly. Obviously I've textured all this up, and this, you know, I still texture a bit more to side up and everything else. But you're left with little bits like this. Someone says, what the hell is there? No, you can easily tidy that up and have that as something hanging off the book, and painting a contrasting colour to it, which I'm probably going to do actually. You know, or bits like this where I cut it and it's just all frayed in. So there's a nice straight bit. There was all weird bits coming aside, so I can easily have that hanging off one corner of the book. And, you know, I'm going to tinker around with it, but anyway, I thought I'd share that with you before you see it, and then go, oh, how did you get that done? So I'll see in a minute. Guys, so it's finished. This is it, absolutely insane. Now before I show you pretty pictures and everything else, as always, whenever I make something, if there's any mistakes, I will tell you, so it saves you doing the same mistake. But if I get onto that, there's a few things I want to show you. I used to make foam on this for the make the book, but then I used this to spray it in. So that's a nice little, I discovered accidentally, but if you have something like a little piece of terrain that you want to spray, that is a good way of spraying them. If you're not having it out anywhere, you can actually just spray it in there. Right, this is the first time using Kingspan. Some of you call it XPF or XPS. I absolutely love the material. The only problem I have with the piece that I have is too thick. I don't have a Proxon to, you know, cut in. A Proxon was always on my list of tools to get, but never at the top. It was always towards the bottom, because there's, you know, there's lots of things that I use. But now I'm going to try and source a thinner piece, because I think that'd be absolutely, I mean, for breaking bricks, this piece is, this size is brilliant, but for making wood, making doors, making buildings, I think the thinner piece would be better. But with that said, those of you that know about the underspray that I use, which is basically PVA glue, some black paint, some blue paint, you know, some water, and, you know, water in a clean spray bottle to spray sensitive material like this, to give it an underspray so you can get into bits and pieces. And what I discovered was, there's bits when I was doing that, it wasn't sticking to it properly. It was just sort of just coating it gently, but just running off. So then what I did was, because that's water based, okay, so it's very like pH neutral. So I got a spray can and I sprayed an area with the black spray paint to get into all the bits. And what it started doing to the bricks, it started to just not bubble, not melt, but just sort of like give the brick itself a rough like texture. Okay, I then gave it a spray with the underspray that neutralised the burning effect of the spray can, and what it left behind was a nice little texture on the bricks. Now most of the bricks have that texture on, which is absolutely amazing, but that also served the purpose of getting into nooks and crannies that the spray won't get into, because you turn the spray bottle a certain way, but the nozzle inside is not hitting the liquid to bring it up and in. But apart from that, that's, you know, fantastic. Now, the portal that I made, I was using the Evo stick, Builder's PVA glue. It's not a stick; it's actually a, you know, massive tub of PVA glue, but it's heavy duty stuff. Now, when I show you pretty pictures, you'll see what I mean. I was trying to use it to see, would it dry like clear resin? Okay, so I could use it to make water features without having to really mess around with resin. Not really. If I'm making a frozen lake, that's perfect. It just takes so long to dry. And when I say to you before of other builds that it takes ages to dry, you know, you'll see what I mean. Because the top half of it is all clear and cured, but it looks like froze, like looks like ice. And then as it goes down, it's pure white, but the glue isn't cured yet. What I'll probably have to do, maybe in a few days, if it's still like that, is get a pin and just pierce it with a pin to try and get some air into it to dry off a little bit. I don't know, but I'm going to go and show you the pictures now. There are 3 wizards on there that I painted on the last painting video, and the baddie, the chaos wizard, who's the one doing all the crazy stuff, which is crazy on this building. But anyway, guys, I'll see you in a second. Absolutely amazing. There's the book. There's crystal on there. Let's go on this side. There's the portal. You see what I'm saying? It's just top half is done nicely, but the bottom half is still just. And yes, I did. That's the blue bit of card there that I used to seal the bottom to put PVA glue into it. I didn't take it because I think it looks kind of cool there. Just looks like a blue like energy beam like line there coming up, but. Anyway, guys, I've just moved everything around. So as you can see, this book, it isn't fixed. Okay, so I've actually had it separate so that you could use it, move it to any part of this building, or you can use it in games of, you know, Warhammer, the old world as it's coming back, AOS. You know, you use it in games of 40Ks, being a cursed book that someone needs to get to and destroy. You know, it's now colours. Someone's going to say, how did I do this? The red here is corn red, I think it is. And then I just dry brushed it with Screaming Skull. The tiles are the same as this man's base. Okay. Crystal, you know, is from the draw set. I also did some work down there. Some bits of fallen walls and stuff. Is it going to give me the light underneath? There's a bit of slate underneath there. It's a bit of foam, off bit cuts of. Now I don't know about the colour on it. Guys, check comment below and let me know. Shit, that's what I've forgotten. The flying stand. I've got mask tape still around it. I need to take that off. But yeah, that's absolutely. Again, I'll just shiver it around. The lighting's gone really weird here. It's getting really bright and really dark, so I do apologise if it looks a bit weird. Now these pillars, Painter's Grey, which is a very dark grey, Genesee Purple dry brush, Lothlorien Blue dry brush, and then Emperor's Children, which is a pink dry brush. Now this one's got more blue on it than anything else. This is more purple, and this one is just a crazy mixture of all of them. Yeah. I love this. Absolutely fantastic. I really love the way the Demonettes come out. There's a pity about the PVA glue not coming out properly. But, so, zoom in. And I'm pleased with this. Obviously, I painted this, was it gold? Retributor gold, I think it is. And then I gave it a little wash down with Aphosian camo shade, I think it is. But no, guys, I'll see you in a second. Right, there's one more thing I forgot to tell you. I'm just blown away by this. One more thing I forgot to tell you. When I done this, so putting it together and everything else, I didn't take into account weight distribution on the weatherboard. So it sort of warped the board a little bit. So I had to flip the board and cover it in PVA glue on the back. And the warp was really bad. And I was like, shit, I've gone halfway through this and I don't want to have to throw it because it's, you know, the board's warped really bad. So when I flipped it, because it had all the, you know, the pillars and everything else on it, I had to use it on the Necromancer Terrain that I built and turn it upside down and sort of wedge it on that, and just I used the children's PVA glue, covered the back of it on with that. I left it for over 24 hours. When I came back, it's not 100% flat, but it's like 98% flat. You won't notice any sort of lip unless you try and run your fingers underneath it. So, you know, just let you guys know, to when you're doing something on this sort of scale, just be aware of weight distribution. Now what I could have done was take a flat piece of Kingspan first of all and just use that as the base, because then it's flat. I'm just putting on, you know, but you learn from these mistakes, don't you? And hopefully you guys don't do the same mistake. I do have another piece over here, which I did when I first pieces of terrain, okay, but you can see all the gravel on there, so I still need to PVA glue the back of that because it's you know, not set properly, but that's because of the gravel, okay. That's just the weight distribution was all weird. But anyways, I absolutely love this. I'm very pleased with it. I'm very happy with working with Kingspan for the first time. One other thing. On the summoning for the demon that's coming out, I actually used the hot knife and the smouldering iron to get the brickwork done. There's a group on Facebook, the foam cuts, I think it's called. Something like that. Just have a look on it, you'll see. Well, I'm part of that group, so you can follow me to there. But instead of using that ballpoint pen, it's a lot easier, and you can actually draw grand designs and then just use the ballpoint pen to. Okay, so that's again the learning for me. But guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. We're on 60 subscribers now. I'm actually blown away with you guys. At this point in filming now, I think when I started this part of the video, I think I was on 50 something. So guys, I'm actually blown away. Thank you very much. I hope you liked the video. Until next week, guys, I'll see you later.